Hey y'all, it's Kelp, and let's talk about Iranian sleeper cells. Roll clip.
We have some incredibly serious breaking news. We just learned that last week, Iran sent a message to Donald Trump threatening to activate sleeper cells in the United States if he were to attack.
So that is a very popular white TikTok creator who fancies himself a journalist, basically sharing state-sponsored propaganda that's going to get brown people killed. Because Iranian sleeper cells are not a thing. I've studied violent extremism and terrorism, particularly Islamic terrorism, for over 20 years. I've done all of that through human intelligence, meaning I have over 10,000 interviews and interrogations of top leaders and fighters of Al-Qaeda, ISI, which is the organization y'all now know as ISIS, and Shia-based insurgencies and militias. And none of those organizations, insurgencies, or militias operate with sleeper cells. They just don't do it. The term sleeper cell is basically old Cold War anti-Soviet, anti-communist propaganda mixed in with a big sprinkling of Islamophobia to try to make it so that it's justified for our government, such as Trump, to enact things like the Muslim ban and continue to discriminate against people of Middle Eastern descent, North African descent, and Muslims in general. In our modern time, the current time, the Cold War was like the golden age of espionage, and they had this thing called that they thought of called sleeper agents. It turned out to never really be a thing, but it was something that the US government pushed that the commies were doing, taking people, putting them in, having them integrate into normal everyday American life, and they were just waiting for the order to attack. I'm not talking about spies. I'm not talking about people trying to collect data. I'm not talking about lone wolves. Those are all a thing. We're talking about this idea that someone is going to basically live their entire life waiting for a particular moment to either sacrifice it in a suicide bombing or to stage an elaborate attack on the grounds that something else is going to happen first. A trigger, so to say. Now, in theory, this sounds very scary. It could be anyone around us. It could be one of us. It could be your neighbor. Who knows who could be a sleeper? And that's the point. That is the fear that they tried to enact with all of this propaganda. And while it makes good propaganda and fear-mongering, it's actually a really bad way to conduct a war. It's time and labor intensive. It's very resource-driven, resource-intensive. But it doesn't give a lot of payoff. That payoff to resources ratio is already bad for something such as a government like the USSR. Now imagine something even smaller than that, such as an insurgency, even a large one like ISIS, a Shia militia like Jaish al-Mahdi, or, Al-Qaeda. Their resources are very much better suited for other things such as direct attacks or active engagements in active battlefields. So as a decorated U.S. combat veteran, as a humenter, and as a person who particularly studies counter-extremism and has a large focus on Islamic terrorism, when I heard the news about sleeper agents, the only thing that it had me worried for was our people of Middle Eastern descent and Muslims within the United States and their safety, not mine. Because the real danger of sleeper cells is the threat that's going to happen to people of Middle Eastern and North African descents and Muslims in general, such as Trump's Muslim ban, and the xenophobia that's going to cause violence on our fellow Americans who happen to look different than I do. 9/11 was 24 years ago. While there have been lone wolf attacks, the Boston Marathon bombing, and other things within the United States, there has never been a credible report of a sleeper cell actually operating within the United States. It's propaganda pushed by a fascist government to further discriminate against our people. And white liberal men thinking that they are journalists posting breaking news stories are doing MAGA and Trump's work for them and pushing this scare propaganda out there. To them, the views are more important than the message. And I can prove that, especially about Harry. Stay with me on this one. But I want you to meet Ashley St. Clair. Ashley St. Clair is one of the mothers of Elon Musk's children. She's also a far-right pundit that pushes anti-immigration and particularly anti-Islamic rhetoric. And she likes to hang out with Harry. This is her and Harry in front of her Cybertruck while she was pregnant and in an active relationship with Elon Musk. Harry is actively hanging out with far-right pundits particularly one who has a close personal relationship with Elon Musk, while Elon Musk was working to destroy our democracy. Trump doesn't have to push his propaganda because people like Harry will push it for him as breaking news, quote unquote, with no nuance, no context, just a claim put out by the Trump administration that they know are going to hurt people that don't look like us. But I mean, if ABC News says it, it must be true. What do I know? This is only literally my life's work. But as always, stay vigilant, stay safe. Don't trust people who just post breaking news reading off state propaganda. And I love you all. Until next time.